Hey guys, John here, and in this video, I'm going to go over a way to improve the largest Contentful paint or LCP image metric in Shopify. This video is going to be somewhat of a continuation of a previous video I've done on the subject, which was about how to fix the LCP image lazy loading issue in Shopify. As always, if anything's unclear after watching the video, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to address your questions. And on a quick side note, if you'd like me to help you speed up your site, there's going to be a link to a Fiverr gig of mine in the description below the video. Send me a message and I'll take a quick look at your site free of charge. I have a demo site here that was built on Shopify's Studio theme. It's pretty basic. There's no apps installed and only a few products and images. In the previous video, we talked about the importance of this banner image up here not be lazy loaded. And just to double check that, I'm going to right click and hit it, click inspect. And then inside this div right here, we're going to look in the image tag. And if we scroll down, we see that, well, if I can show it, we see that the loading attribute here is set to eager, not lazy. Now, this video is going to be about how to make this banner image load even faster. If we come here to the Performance tab and click Refresh and wait for it to finish, I might fast forward through this. There's no sense in you guys sitting through this. Okay, I'm just going to rearrange this a bit so that we can see it better. Now, if we look at the network waterfall, we see that our HTML document response starts here. Then after that, we see a number of JavaScript and CSS files start to load. And then finally down here, we see our LCP image start to load. I know it's the LCP because it's called, I'll show you, Smiling Woman on a Snowy Afternoon. And if we come back here to the Elements tab, look inside this div, and we look at our image, in the file source, we see that it's called Smiling Woman on a Snowy Afternoon. So I'll go back to the Performance tab here. So if we look at when this first file starts to load, and then compare that with when our LCP starts to load, we see that there is a gap here, this right here. A gap between when this file starts to load, which is here, and then when our LCP starts to load, which is not until here. So this gap right here. So this means that our LCP takes that long to start loading after this first file here has started to load, which is less than desirable from a load speed standpoint. For optimal load speed, Google suggests that this gap be as small as possible. In other words, we want our LCP to be among the first files to start loading after the HTML document response. And just a quick note, this gap would be quite a bit larger if this were a full site with more products and installed apps, which a typical Shopify store usually has. So how do we shrink this gap? Well, one way is to do what is known as a preload for the LCP. Essentially, this is telling the browser to preload the image, which makes the browser start loading the LCP image as soon as possible. So I'm going to go to the shop's dashboard, which I have open in this tab right here. I'm in the themes section under online store, and then I'm just going to click these three dots here and then click on edit code. From the previous video, we know that the banner image we're looking for is in the image-banner.liquid file. And we know from the Elements tab right here that the image is inside this div with the class banner __ media. So I'll just search for that class right here. Banner __ media space media. There it is right there. And if I scroll down a bit, I get to the image tag with the loading property of eager. So this is our banner image. And to add the preload to the image, all we do is we add a preload property and we set it to true. And then we hit save. So let's run a trace and see what that's done. I'm going to go back to the performance tab. I'm going to remove all that, and then I'm going to hit refresh and then wait for it to finish. Again, I'm just going to rearrange this a bit. We can see that the LCP is now the first file to load after the DOM, which is exactly what we want. And one more thing I'd like to note. If I hover over the LCP here, we see that it says low here on this text bar that appears. That means that the browser is giving the LCP a low fetch priority. And while that doesn't seem to be making any difference in this example, because the LCP is in fact being loaded first, in a typical Shopify store, there might be other files that are preloaded as well that may randomly be given a higher fetch priority, which then might delay the loading of the LCP, which is not what we want. So it helps to tell the browser to always give the LCP a high fetch priority. And in Shopify, a way to do that is to come back here to the image tag and add a fetch priority attribute and set it equal to high, like so. And that's it. That covers a way to improve the largest contentful paint or LCP image metric in Shopify. I hope you found the video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.